Hello, I'm Linda.
And I'm Megan.
And here's the Society news for Friday the 10th of May 2019. Tuesday the 14th of May, the strollers will be meeting for a stroll in Haven Street. Coffee will be at the railway station cafe at approximately 10:45. After the stroll, lunch will be at the Sloop, Wootton. Please ring the Society if you would like to join the strollers group. The swimming group is swimming at the waterside pool in Ryde. The pool is closed to the public whilst the group swims. There are male and female volunteers to help you get in and out of the pool, as well as lifeguards to ensure your safety. To join the swimming group, please call the site for Wight first to notify us of your swimming ability. You need to register with the office at Millbrook House first to be able to swim with the group.
And Wednesday the 15th of May, the weekly coffee morning will be held at Millbrook House this week from 10:30 a.m. There will also be our low vision drop-in between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. This is a weekly event to allow you to view and try the low vision equipment we have at the Society without the need for an appointment. We will be swimming at the special care session held at West Wight Sports Centre in Freshwater. The session runs from 12 noon until 1. The cost to swim is £4.20. Minibus transport will be available depending on location and cost £2. If you are interested in joining the group, then we will need to ask some questions about your swimming ability, general health and mobility and next of kin details. Numbers are restricted for this session, so please register your interest early.
Thursday the 16th of May. The Thursday social group are meeting at Millbrook House. The group meets from 10:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. You can knit or just have a chat. Then later in the afternoon, volunteers come in and read to the group from different topics.
Any other news? Site for Wight is delighted to announce that the position of volunteer manager has been filled by our internal candidate Susan Early. Susan has been our volunteer administration assistant for nearly a year and will be in post from Tuesday the 14th of May. John from the Talking News team has requested that we ask all Talking News recipients to ensure that they have returned all wallets. To enable us to ensure you receive the Talking News regularly, each member is assigned 2 wallets so that there is always a spare. But for some members, we only seem to have a 1 wallet, so John says. Please, can you check that you've not forgotten to post one back?
Southern Vectis have advised us of some time-limited changes to the following bus routes. From 8 a.m. on April the 11th until 5 p.m. on the 17th of May, routes 2, 3 and 8, which normally operate from Fitzroy Street, Sandown, will operate from the Broadway right into Station Avenue. We will be holding a low vision day here at Millbrook House on Wednesday the 22nd of May between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. We will be joined by Professional Vision Services, the Macular Society and Dolphin Speech Software. We will also have a display of clocks and watches from Cobalt and technology and aids available from the Society. Refreshments and parking will be available. 2 new coffee mornings have started in Ryde and Cowes. On the last Tuesday of each month, we will meet in Costa Coffee, High Street, Ryde, from 10:30 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. On the first Thursday of each month, we will meet at Costa Coffee, High Street, Cowes, from 10:30 a.m. until 11:45 a.m. Refreshments are available for purchase direct from the coffee shop. Our coffee mornings are run by staff and volunteers from Site for Wight and are open to all. We hope to see you there.
This week's In Touch, tactile. A landmark High Court judgment says tactile voting devices are unlawful and a new way of getting around Gatwick Airport. Presenter for that was Lee Kumutat and producer was Tom Walker.
And now we turn to the Isle of Wight County Press and their news for Friday, the 10th of May 2019. And the main headline is Gym Users Mocked. Racist, offensive and derogatory comments about customers were made by staff at a Ryde gym. Comments made on a private Facebook group chat by staff at Evolution Gym were seen by personal trainer Rebecca Barton when she was mistakenly added to the group. She took about 500 screenshots, many of which have been seen by the county press, and informed the police. One man was described as Pie Man, and another was described by gym owner Matthew Ward as matey who looks like he's gonna bomb the gaff, thin beard, dark skin, Arab looking. Mr. Ward confirmed there were offensive comments made and said staff had been severely reprimanded. The screenshots show comments were made by Mr. Ward and personal trainers Michael Cooper and Richard Ward. Miss Barton, who said offensive comments were also made about her, said, "As a personal trainer myself, I don't find this fair on the clients involved. When you think members of the public are paying their wage and this is how they treat them, that's why I have gone public. I felt like a victim. I think it is horrendous. The people they help in the gym are sometimes quite vulnerable, so I thought it was shocking. I think people need to be made aware of it. People don't want to go to the gym to be made fun of." One man who has suffered health problems throughout his life saw comments about him. He said, "I think it is bang out of order. They should never slate their customers. It's so wrong on so many levels." There was a confrontation in the street between Miss Barton and one staff member from the gym. Miss Barton remains upset that no police action has been taken over the messages. A police spokesperson said, "There was an allegation of malicious communications reported to us on 27th of March 2019 and a public order incident on March the 26th, 2019. No one was hurt. These matters are connected to other ongoing investigations. It would not be appropriate to comment further while inquiries are being carried out. Anyone unhappy with the police response can utilise our complaints process by calling 101. Roach Pittis solicitors for Mr. Ward said, "It is accepted that some unfortunate and historic comments were made by some members of staff about Miss Barton in a group chat, but our client took immediate action by disciplining relevant staff and offering Miss Barton a 6-month membership as an apology."
And now for something a little happier. Are you ready to walk the Wight? Thousands of people will walk the Wight with Mountbatten on Sunday, and there's still time to sign up. The charity's flagship event includes the 26.5-mile main walk from Bembridge to the Needles, an 8-mile flat walk from Sandown to Newport, and 4-mile schools walk. Mountbatten's Jax Jones, walk organiser, said, "We can't wait for the big day, and it's not too late for people to get involved. Registration will be open at all the start points of the various walks. For anyone who has been thinking about it or who didn't get around to registering, we would love you to join us. This event brings our island community together, which is a fantastic thing to be part of, and it makes a huge difference to the work we do in supporting people experiencing death, dying and bereavement. To take part, a minimum donation of £20 per adult and £10 per child has been suggested. Walkers must arrive within the starting times of all the walks. The main walk will be open between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. at Bembridge Airport. For further details, visit the website at www.mountbatten.org.uk/timings-travel.
Typhoons will fly over Cowes Sky. The RAF Typhoon display team will take to the skies at Cowes Week this summer. Flown by top pilots, the incredible aircraft thrilled the crowds when they appeared at Cowes Week in 2016. Both the Typhoons and the Red Arrows have always proved a popular draw at the world-famous sailing regatta. Cowes Week Limited Commercial and Marketing Director Kate Johnson said, "We're delighted to bring the Typhoon back to Lendy Cowes Week since its last appearance in 2016. It's a thrilling display and will start the Friday night of the regatta off in style, followed by the famous fireworks display at 9:30 p.m.
And top TV roles for 9-year-old island actor. Most actors would be proud of a CV that includes roles in TV programmes Motherland and Silent Witness, but for island girl Sophie Crombie, the achievement is all the more extraordinary as she is only 9 years old. Sophie is making her way in the entertainment industry, having just finished filming for BBC Two comedy drama Motherland, alongside actors Anna Maxwell Martin and Lucy Punch. She was then requested as a featured supporting artist for BBC One's popular crime drama series Silent Witness, which will air in February 2020. Mum Rachel said, "We have seen Sophie go from strength to strength, and as yet there is no sign of her slowing down. She is currently preparing for a big audition and, if successful, will see her on the big stage. But we can't say anything more at the moment. We are immensely proud of Sophie. She's a bundle of energy, and often people ask how she manages to do so much. But when she does have a break, she gets bored very quickly. She really enjoys what she does and loves seeing herself on TV or hearing her voice on an advert. And we are all behind her, supporting her all the way." As well as filming, Sophie is a voiceover artist signed with a leading agency in London, Soho Voices, and she was the voice of the Lindex clothing company's Christmas campaign. She has also starred in some short films, among other work. Sophie goes to Broadley Primary School and is a student at Theatre Train Isle of Wight, Dance Vibes, White Tricks Academy, and is a green belt in Shokotan Karate.
Island B&B scoop National AA Awards. Isle of Wight bed and breakfasts have been hailed among the best in the country, thanks to their friendly owners and brilliant breakfasts. Old House at Gotten Manor, Chale, won the award for Best Breakfast at this year's AA Bed and Breakfast Awards. Owner Caroline Gurney Champion said, "I'm very chuffed. It makes getting up very early in the morning worthwhile. The ethos of a good breakfast is getting everything locally sourced within 5 miles of our B&B." Second place in the friendliest bed and breakfast category was jointly awarded to 2 businesses, Hayes Barton in Shanklin and the Leconfield Hotel in Bonchurch. Hayes Barton owner Chris Williams said, "Living within a mile of our co-runner-up just shows what a good place the island is."
And now, with the European elections coming up, European candidates quizzed. 6 political hopefuls were quizzed by islanders about what they would achieve if they were elected as members of the European Parliament last night, Wednesday. The candidates covered the entire political spectrum from UKIP and the Brexit Party to the Socialists and Greens. Hosted by Joe Plum, known to many for his Vectis radio show Political Soapbox, candidates were given 3 minutes to explain why residents of the Isle of Wight should vote for their party before fielding questions from the audience. In the election, candidates will vote for a party rather than individual candidates. MEPs are then elected using a system of proportional representation. Speaking at the packed Anthony Minghella Theatre at Key Arts was Robert Rowland from the Brexit Party, Daryl Pitcher from UKIP, Stephen Harper from the Socialist Party, Vix Lothian from the Green Party, Judith Bunting from the Liberal Democrats, and Rohit Das Gupta from the Labour Party. Rohit Das Gupta described his own experiences with racism in the wake of the referendum and said, "People were coming up to me and saying, 'Why don't you go back to your own country? We voted people like you out.'" It was a heated debate with shouts from the audience throughout. Candidates were asked questions including, "Is democracy dead if Brexit does not happen?" Responding, Vix Lothian said, "That vote was based on a lack of information. I do not think democracy dies with one vote. Democracy is about engagement and debate." Judith Bunting added, "The question has changed. That deal is not good, and we need a people's vote." Climate change was also on the agenda, with most candidates vowing to tackle global warming as a priority. However, Robert Rowland said, "The Brexit Party does not have a policy on climate change. We have only been going 3 weeks. How can you expect us to have that?" Daryl Pitcher from UKIP said the environmental crisis, if it exists, could not take precedence over other issues. The Conservative Party and Change UK did not put up a candidate to take part in the debate. European parliamentary elections take place on May the 23rd. There are 10 seats up for grabs, with 85 candidates representing 10 parties.
Brett and Stevie to tour island libraries. With the support of his canine friend, an island man is using his experience to help others. Fundraiser Brett Lamplow and his guide dog Stevie will tour island libraries this summer to speak to people about the Guide Dogs charity and explain how they can help. Brett, who also volunteers at St Mary's Hospital, will be attending events including the Isle of Wight Festival of Transport, the Isle of Wight Dog Festival, and Fan TC Con to promote the charity and meet potential volunteers. With more volunteers, Brett said he would be able to organise more fundraising events. Catch Brett and Stevie at Cowes Library on June the 29th, Shanklin Library on July the 27th, and Ventnor Library on August the 29th.
And now improvements at Christ the King. A school slammed by inspectors as inadequate has had another Ofsted visit. Christ the King College was found to have serious weaknesses with bullying and casual racism rife among students. However, when Ofsted Inspector Janet Pearce visited again last month, she said leaders and managers were taking effective action towards the removal of the serious weaknesses designation. Ms. Pearce said the school's improvement plan was fit for purpose, although it was too early for improvements in the quality of teaching, learning and assessment to have had sufficient impact. According to her report, the legacy of unacceptable behaviour and ineffective leadership had a negative impact on pupils' results in 2018, which were below average and do not reflect pupils' true potential or ability. However, leaders had not made enough use of their behaviour tracking systems to identify and tackle pupils' use of racist or homophobic language. Although exclusion rates increased for a time while pupils became used to the new expectations, they have settled down as pupils accept firmer discipline. Responding to the monitoring visit findings, Executive Principal Matthew Quinn said, "I'm delighted with the progress made so far. We welcome the endorsement from Ofsted. Many of our students and parents have commented positively on the changes made within the college, and this external view will give confidence and reassurance the school is moving in the right direction. I'd like to give my personal thanks to all my colleagues in the school and the local authorities who have worked so hard to enable us to make these measurable and rapid improvements. However, we acknowledge there is more to do and look forward to continuing this improvement in the months to come. This September, the college moves into a new purpose-built facilities on Wellington Road."
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will take part in a sailing race off the island this summer. Prince William and his wife Catherine will host the inaugural King's Cup regatta this summer to raise awareness and funds for 8 charities. The event, sponsored by Land Rover, will take place on Friday, August the 9th, and see the Duke and Duchess go head-to-head as skippers. 8 sailing boats will take part in the race. The winning team will be awarded the King's Cup, a historic trophy first presented by King George V at Cowes Royal Yacht Squadron in 1920. The 8 boats will each represent one of the charities that are being supported this year by the royal couple. They include Child Bereavement UK, Centrepoint, the London Air Ambulance Charity 30th Anniversary Campaign, and Tusk, 4 causes of which the Duke is patron. The Duchess will support 4 of her patronages: Action on Addiction, Place to Be, the Anna Freud National Centre for Children and Families, and the Royal Foundation in connection with her work in earlier years. The regatta will take place off Cowes and will no doubt draw a crowd of spectators.
And now a charity denied Ride Birth. A charity dedicated to protecting whales and dolphins has been told by the Isle of Wight Council it cannot berth its boat at Ryde Harbour because the space is needed for tourists. Blue Seas Protection, which has actor and television presenter Joanna Lumley as its patron, had bought and equipped a campaign vessel which it hoped to berth alongside its existing boat already based at the harbour. Chair of the charity, Gary Oates, said the adjacent berth had been empty for 4 years, but the council had denied the charity permission to use it. A council spokesman said the space was needed during the peak summer season for visitors. However, the spokesperson said the charity had been offered a winter berth, which would be available from November. Berthing of the vessel in the area proposed would impinge on the movements of adjacent vessels, said the spokesperson. While a permanent berth is not currently available, should one become available, then we will contact Blue Seas Protection. A winter berth has been offered to Blue Seas Protection, although it would not be available until November the 1st and would need to be vacated by March the 31st next year. The council said it was still awaiting a response to the offer. Mr. Oates said, "We now have to tell our patron Joanna Lumley and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who have said they may visit us when they come to the island, we won't be able to carry out the important work of marine conservation and marine extinction from our new berth in Ryde Harbour. This is sad news for Ryde Town, the island, and for island tourism. We feel upset and are being discredited by staff within the council who don't know what a great, if any, opportunity this is for the island. Most importantly, 10,000 dolphins and whales have died in the last 3 months within 100 miles of the island. We have to attempt to stop it." For further information about the charity and its marine conservation work, visit https:// blueseasprotection.com.
And on the same sort of theme, Isle of Wight students launch fossil hunting tours. A new fossil hunting tour company has been launched. Wight Coast Fossils will provide fossil walks on the island. The company is made up of 3 island fossil hunters who volunteer at local museums. Student Jack 1418, set to start a paleontology degree later this year, is often found on the south coast of the island hunting for ammonites. He has a great knowledge of all the fossils to be found from the chalk, having amassed a huge collection. Marine biology student Theo Vickers, 20, has a keen interest in cetaceans and spends his spare time walking the north coast of the island, finding fossils of mammals and collecting sediment samples for sieving. This sieving has allowed him to find 30-million-year-old microvertebrates, most of which look like a grain of sand to the naked eye. Paleontology graduate Megan Jacobs, 23, is now studying for a master's degree. She has published scientific papers and is currently working on publications on the Isle of Wight's geology. She has collected from the island's beaches for more than 15 years, specifically from the southwest coast, collecting dinosaurs, and gives guided tours. The company started as a group of friends after meeting as volunteers at the Dinosaur Isle Museum. They set up a Facebook page posting about the island's geology or fossils, which proved very popular, gaining more than 800 followers in just a few months. The team are now branching out to provide guided tours of the island's beaches. They said, "We offer the public a handful of the most fossiliferous beaches for public tours, where you're guaranteed to find lots of fossils you're able to keep. We also offer specialised private tours for small groups who may have specific interests. For more information, visit www.whitecoastfossils.co.uk.
And downgraded school on a journey to good. Teaching at a Ryde primary school, where 3 senior staff members were replaced during a period of staffing turbulence, has deteriorated, according to Ofsted inspectors. St Mary's Catholic Primary School was previously rated good, but inspectors downgraded it to requires improvement. Since the previous inspection, a new head teacher, senior teacher and SEND coordinator have joined the school, where the number of children with special educational needs and disabilities is higher than the national average. Inspectors said new head Alison Langridge had acted with urgency and ambition to reverse the decline in standards. The report said she has stemmed the deterioration in performance to get the school back on track. It is an improving school. They found staff were willing and capable of improvement, and morale was high. Although teaching had been strengthened, however, it remained inconsistent. Improvements in reading and mathematics had not been mirrored in other subjects, including history, geography and science. Many governors were new and lacked the skills to hold leaders to account, inspectors found. While inadequate teaching had been eradicated, staff performance was not tracked or monitored as it should be. Mrs. Langridge said, "I am immensely proud of the whole staff team. The children could not have worked harder to develop a positive and supportive learning community, and we look forward to continuing our journey to a good Ofsted rating." Chair of Governors Katrina Rigby said, "The inspection process was very thorough and fair. It recognised the difficult journey the school has been following over a significant period without consistent leadership. This report is an accurate reflection. We are very lucky to have a great team of professionals in our school who work tirelessly for the children, despite all the difficulties and budget cuts they have endured."
The Hogs Head pub in Newport will be closed for a month while refurbishment works are carried out. As reported, The popular pub has been given planning permission to improve its sports bar facilities, altering the bar area and creating new seating booths equipped with individual televisions and USB sockets. The pool tables will be moved and the flooring relaid. The High Street pub has shared pictures on its Facebook page showing the works are already well underway. It will reopen on May the 30th.
And now inspectors return to St Mary's. The comprehensive inspection of the island's failing healthcare services will start this month. The Care Quality Commission, CQC, will inspect all areas of the Isle of Wight NHS Trust, starting with mental health and learning disabilities. Inspectors will arrive on the island on Tuesday and remain until the end of June, looking at all services. During the last year's inspection, the CQC said the Trust must significantly improve the quality of its services. The Trust was rated inadequate and placed in special measures. In March, the Trust was also placed in financial special measures after racking up a £13 million debt. Inspectors issued a warning notice for the emergency department after they found a shortage of nurses, lack of beds, and up to 15-hour waiting times. Trust Chief Executive Maggie Oldham said, "The inspection will provide an important opportunity to demonstrate the improvements we have made, the high standards we keep, and our unrelenting focus, safety, quality, and patient experience."
The Isle of Wight Council shortlisted for 5 awards. Isle of Wight Council staff and services have been shortlisted in this year's Municipal Journal Achievement Awards. It's the only authority in the country to be shortlisted for 5 awards, which showcase the top people, projects and practice in local government. The 5 categories are Care and Health Integration, Best Council Services Team, Commercial Services, Corporate Director of the Year, Director of Adult Social Services Dr. Carol Tozer, Rising Star, Head of Strategy and Operations Kathy Marriott, and Senior Leadership Team. Council Chief Executive John Metcalf said this really is fantastic recognition by our local authority peers of the big improvement journey we are on and the very real progress we are making across the council. While it would be nice to win one of the awards, just being there is external acknowledgement of the amazing strides our staff have made over the last few years on behalf of our community. The awards ceremony will be held on June the 26th. Heather Jameson, editor of the Municipal Journal, said, "The MJ Awards is a chance to recognise the extraordinary work of local councils across the country. Despite facing huge cuts to their budgets over the last decade, frontline staff are still working tirelessly to improve their communities and provide vital services to some of the most vulnerable people in the country, and that is to be celebrated."
And now more council news. 3,400 people hit by benefit delay. Thousands of people were left without their housing benefit for more than 24 hours due to an Isle of Wight Council computer glitch, leaving some unable to pay their rent. Around 3,400 people who were due to receive their payments on Tuesday were affected by the error. The money was not paid until Wednesday evening. The council had hoped to fix the problem by Tuesday evening using a faster payment system to transfer the money into people's bank accounts. But on Wednesday, islanders woke up to empty accounts after this was rejected. The council said it would pay any bank charges incurred by people affected by delayed payments. A spokesman for the council said the authority is also ordering to write to the tenants' landlords to explain the situation if required. One islander had to borrow money after she did not receive her benefit payment. Joe Hustler from Cowes said, "I had to borrow money to pay for my car insurance. People rely on that money." The council apologised for the inconvenience caused by the delay and said it would carry out an investigation to ensure it did not happen again. Anyone who has received bank charges due to the delay should email housing benefit at iow.gov.uk with 7th of May 2019 housing benefit late payment bank charges in the email subject line to ensure it will be prioritised. They should send a copy of the relevant month's bank statements, including transactions and charges. Alternatively, they can write to the Housing Benefit Revenue Services, P.O. Box 238, Newport, P.O. 39 FP, including a copy of the relevant statements.
Probation service good, despite cuts. The island's probation service has been rated good, but reducing staff levels to an unsustainably small number has put the quality of its work at risk. The Hampshire and Isle of Wight Community Rehabilitation Company, CRC, is not publicly owned, but one of 5 probation services run by the private Purple Futures Consortium. An inspection report published by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Probation found sweeping staff changes had put the service at risk. Almost a quarter of probation officers have been seconded to the National Probation Service, and efforts to recruit new staff members at lower grades have proved difficult. New staff will not be in place until the autumn, and in the meantime probation staff have been managing around 70 cases each. Chief Inspector Dame Glenys Stacey said the quality of its work is at risk as the owners have decided to reduce the professionally qualified proportion of its workforce, and there have been delays in recruiting new, less experienced staff. In my opinion, the CRC no longer has the quantity and calibre of staff to deliver an effective service. Regrettably, the ability of the CRC to sustain the quality of its work is being put at risk because of the financial pressures that this and other CRCs are experiencing. However, Purple Futures has provided evidence-based plans to show how it can improve. A range of areas were inspected, including leadership, staff and services, with category ratings ranging from outstandings to inadequate. Dame Stacey said there were clear strengths in the assessment and planning of cases, but a drift in focus during the implementation of the sentence, especially around risk of harm issues. She added that the work done by senior case managers was markedly better than that done by lower grade case managers. The CRC supervises nearly 4,000 low and medium risk offenders. Some are preparing to leave or have left prison, while others are serving community sentences. Dame Stacey said the service had the essentials in place to deliver a good probation service, and the senior leaders were skilled, knowledgeable and energetic. Inspectors found the CRC's work with people under supervision to be of mixed quality. Initial work to assess individual circumstances and to plan activity to improve them was judged to be good. However, inspectors found the delivery and reviewing of the work was less effective. Staff also needed to improve their understanding and management of the potential risk of harm to members of the public. All CRCs supervise people to complete unpaid work in the community and deliver through-the-gate services to support individuals leaving prison. The through-the-gate service was judged to deliver a reasonable standard of support, but inspectors found more could be done to support individuals in 40% of inspected cases.
And now, supported by lots of photos of young and not so young people, an article on the demo in Newport. Campaigners marched through Newport to demand action on climate change. Extinction Rebellion, Isle of Wight, organised the process, held in St Thomas's Square on Saturday. Campaigners said they were inspired by the action in London during the Easter break, where for several days people stopped traffic, made music and joined assemblies to discuss their next steps. A spokesperson for the group said, "We were pleased to welcome many new faces, both young and old, to our march, which was optimistic about the possibilities for repairing the world, but also anxious about the urgency of the situation we find ourselves in. We are also very disappointed at the legal position, preventing much-needed local progress to address the nationally recognised climate emergency after it was announced the Council would not debate climate change at the upcoming May full Council meeting due to the imminent European elections."
Trustees are sought by Age UK Isle of Wight. Could you be a trustee for Age UK Isle of Wight? The charity is looking for people who share its desire to improve the lives of older people to strengthen its current board of trustees. The independent charity has been supporting older islanders since 1973 and is held in high regard by the communities it serves, as well as by local health and social care decision makers. Trustees play a pivotal part in the governance, leadership and long-term planning of the charity, so Age UK is encouraging people with specific skills, backgrounds and attributes to apply. In particular, it is seeking trustees from the community with experience in technology, business development, fundraising, or working with older people. Chair of Trustees Sheila Evans said, "Being a trustee is valuable time well spent and personally rewarding. We are individuals drawing upon our combined experience and skills, and our ability to take sound, challenging decisions can generate positive outcomes for the well-being of the charity."
And now, GPs urge to act after man dies. Doctors have been told to review the way they prescribe drugs after a man died, having taken dangerous medication. Nathan Cook, 36, of Westminster Lane, Newport, was found dead by his mother. An inquest into his death heard. He had been prescribed medication for mental health issues and addiction issues, including methadone and clomipramine, an antidepressant known to cause cardiac arrhythmia, convulsions and central nervous system depression in excessive doses. He had been prescribed methadone to wean him off a strong addictive painkiller prescribed after he suffered an injury to his hand. The Isle of Wight Coroner's Court heard good practice dictates that when a patient is on clomipramine, they should be monitored for abnormal heart rhythms. In Mr. Cook's case, he was found to have an abnormal reading in 2017. The inquest was told he was warned of an increased risk of potentially fatal heart arrhythmia, but his family said they were not told how dangerous it was, or they would have ensured he received the help he needed. A letter sent by the Isle of Wight NHS Trust to Nathan's mother, Pam Cook, after his death accepted the Trust should have referred Nathan to a cardiologist, but failed to do so. He was offered follow-up appointments to monitor his heart rhythm, but the inquest heard did not attend or declined to have the test done when he did attend. Mrs. Cook said she had cancelled appointments she was unable to take him to and said he declined to test because he wanted his GP present. The inquest heard it was possible to decline further prescriptions to compel a patient to undergo the test, but this could be dangerous as it may lead to a sudden stop in their medication. And Coroner Caroline Soumaré raised concerns that there was a risk of future deaths if patients were prescribed potentially dangerous medication and not monitored regularly. She said GPs should write to patients inviting them to attend a review and inform them that if they failed to attend, their medication would be reduced and eventually stopped. The inquest heard Mr. Cook died in February of cardiorespiratory failure caused by central nervous system depression as a result of methadone and clomipramine overdose. The coroner concluded it was a drug-related death. A spokesperson for the Isle of Wight NHS Clinical Commissioning Group said, "We would like to offer our sincere condolences to Nathan's family. We have received a report from the coroner which we will be responding to. We are committed to taking prompt action to ensure learning from all requests."
And that's all from our portion of the County Press for this week. I'll say goodbye from Linda.
And Megan.
Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of your Talking newspaper for Friday the 10th of May. I'm Howard.
And hello, I'm Jan.
We'll do the letters section first. This is from Tanya Katerina Rebel from Cowes. 2 full meetings and a well-attended Stop 5G demonstration show a significant proportion of the Ireland community feel very strongly about the proposed introduction, installation and operation of 5G wireless technology. Their main concern is this new and unprecedented technology is being rolled out without independent, strategic, broad-spectrum health or environmental risk assessments required by law before people are exposed to untested new technology. Scientists across the world are warning that pulsed millimetre wave radiation is likely to cause significant health issues with unknown long-term health effects, especially for pregnant mothers, the unborn, the young and the elderly. In addition, many warn that it will be hugely harmful to wildlife, in particular birds and bees. Our UK government is the financial driving force behind 5G, but neither they nor the industry have been able to categorically state it is a safe, time-proven technology, nor have there been any consultations to ensure public consent. The idea of informed consent has been universally accepted and now constitutes Article 7 of the United Nations International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. This article explicitly includes a prohibition on medical and scientific experimentation without consent. There is a myriad of eminent scientists and health officials, even within the World Health Organization, who have expressed their most serious concerns about exposure to 5G frequencies, and countries, towns, cities and American states have taken a good look and decided to say no until at least there are meaningful health and environmental assurances. The Isle of Wight would be wise to do so as well. The Isle of Wight Constitution states the Council is answerable to the Human Rights Act. Under the HSAW Act 1974, the Council has to carry out risk assessments before any exposure of its residents to a technology with unknown health consequences. It should focus on fibre optic connections which are more effective and which do not pose a threat.
And from Geraldine Parmenter of Shanklin, I don't agree with everything Rebecca Roncaroni said in her column on the care industry, but Ian Bennett's letter paints a picture which just isn't true of some of the care. My mother had 3 weeks of respite care after a fall. She was self-funding, so I had to trawl the websites to find the best care I could. Based on the CQC ratings and availability, the best homes are always full, she went to one that turned out to be understaffed, adopted cost-cutting exercises when it came to the food provided, and most of the time my mother was left sitting in her room. When she challenged the fact she was only given half a sandwich for her evening meal, she was told a whole sandwich was too much for old people. 2 of the staff resigned whilst my mother was there, as they were fed up with being promised additional staff. If they did have a spare moment, they were expected to help out in the laundry, when they should have been available for the residents. And yet this home had a good rating. I managed to move her to the wonderful Springfield in Shanklin, fully staffed, wonderful food, and run for the residents, not solely for profit. Not everyone in this industry is in it for the right reasons.
This from Mrs. A. Harrison of Bembridge, who says that Randonney organisers need tighter rules. I'd like to express my dismay and disbelief of the visiting cyclists who were on the road from Bembridge on Sunday. How dare they think that they can take over the road and even try to overtake cars in the middle of the road? Where were the marshals? Have the cyclists ever heard of the highway code? I appreciate the island needs the tourist money to survive, but why do the long-suffering residents, we already have to give extra time to reach our appointments, have to put up with such blatant disregard and safety for them and us, downright bad manners and chaotic behaviour? Surely some stricter rules should be made and given out to all competitors at the start. My final question, why choose Bembridge? They were only passing through and were of no benefit to our small, quiet country village. Organisers, please take note.
And David Cole from Chale asks, why don't we have this specialist? What on earth is going on at the Isle of Wight NHS Trust? I understand there is no histopathologist on the island, one having to have to come from the mainland. This could mean post-mortems are delayed along with funerals, but it could also mean results of biopsies are delayed. The histopathologist is the person who performs post-mortems, but also studies tissue samples. Therefore, if patients are having to wait for results of a biopsy because we have no resident histopathologist, it is totally unacceptable. This was highlighted when a man was wrongly diagnosed, and that was in the County Press of the 12th of May. I understand recruitment is a problem, but not impossible. Possibly cheaper than bringing a histopathologist from the mainland or indeed sending samples over. And who deals with frozen sections nowadays? They can't be sent to the mainland. People could die as a result and possibly already have. Histology, cytology is a pathology department dealing with tissue samples. I also suffered recently with my son Ian passing away. The PM was quicker than I thought, so my thanks to the histopathologist and the mortuary staff. My grief was made worse by knowing what happens, but the fact I helped design the present mortuary before I retired caused mixed emotions, to put it mildly.
In the White Memories section today, Island DJ Ian Knocker Door shares some memories of Woody's, a Newport hotspot in the early 2000s. Woody's was the place to be in Newport in the early 2000s. Following a refit, it became one of the island's premier club venues. Ian said, "Bijou but banging, Woody's was a hoofer of a night to play. I was with Power FM at the time, starting there, and initially was only doing Wednesday night, as I had other commitments. The refit loomed, and that opened the door of not only opportunity but a whole bucket load of fun. It was really well put together, visually stunning, and something totally unique on the island. Whilst at Power, I was also running the DJ Mixing Championship, and one of the prizes for the winner was a residency at Woody's on a Saturday. The winner was Dan Gashes, aka DJ Merlin. He'd done a couple of warm-up slots at Dynamite, so we knew each other vaguely, and it was the start of something really special. Not only from a DJing point of view, but like many that have met in Clubland, a long-term friendship. The venue was big enough to have breathing space, yet small enough to create a really nice tight vibe. Again, everything was right, and it was hugely enjoyable. Great decor, great people on the bar and door, and a nice upstairs area to chill out.
And going on to my view, from Jonathan Young, "Squalls ahead in ferry stand-up row" is the headline. I generally manage to avoid using the ferries at peak hours. When your time's your own, as mine by and large is, the even higher fares, the badly supervised kids, and the scramble for a decent seat can mostly be avoided if you go about your business in the middle of the night. Recently, though, I had no choice. Out on Bank Holiday Monday, back on Friday afternoon. Both red funnel crossings were full, or almost full, and it was no picnic. Of passing interest, berthed in Southampton, was the newly arrived jewel in the RF crown, like the £10 million red Kestrel, shaped a bit like a miniature aircraft carrier and about to go into service as its first freight-only ferry. Red Funnel's chief executive, Fran Collins, is very excited about the Kestrel, which she reckons will enhance convenience for her customers. It took a little close questioning by a journalist to reveal the downside. And there is indeed a downside. Remember the peak hour crowds, the dash for seats? Nearly all of those seats are filled by the drivers and passengers of the cars, coaches and lorries on the vehicle deck. From this month, a chunk of lorry traffic will migrate to the Kestrel. Every 12 lorries and their drivers removed from the existing ferries will make room for up to 35 cars and their occupants, maybe around 100 of them. Ms. Collins knows it's sometimes impossible to get a seat as it is. She accepts the customer feedback, says so. She also seems to be softening us up for worse to come when she says, "From this summer there will be some days where seating is difficult. We do have alternative options. Passengers can choose to upgrade or sit outside, but we know that's not always optimal for people." Where to start? Probably by extrapolating from those comments the facts as they are likely to play out this summer. There will be some days, more days than last summer, where there will be no seats to be had unless you're willing to take your chance with the weather and the smokers on deck, or fork out £10 to get into the Signature Lounge, a quiet, relaxing space to work or socialise, complete with nibbles and hot drinks. Miss Collins professes not to want Red Funnel to be seen as a corporate giant, but the investment in Red Kestrel has all the hallmarks of a strategy based on the bottom line. She also says she expects community scrutiny of a business on which so many islanders depend. I think the level of that scrutiny may increase spectacularly if customers find that, having paid summer prices to cross the Solent, they're then made to stand for an hour while upstairs, behind the obscured windows of the Signature Lounge. The relaxed socialisation, complete with nibbles, is in full swing. I never have been able to understand why rail passengers put up with standing when there are empty seats in the first class. It would be neither surprise nor disappoint me to find this view shared by lots of islanders, in which case Red Funnel may soon find it has a squall or two to contend with.
And this from Alan Marriott, who wishes a plague on those who blight Wight. It's a well-worn topic with newspaper columnists, and I may even have touched on it myself in the past. In fact, it's a rubbish subject to revisit, but I make no apologies for doing so, although I may feel a tinge of regret at the tortured puns. 2 incidents in the past week have heightened my awareness of the littering of this green and pleasant island. Firstly, my good friend Ian Gregory posted on Facebook pictures of black sacks full of asbestos roof tiles fly-tipped near his home in Freshwater. There followed reports of this unwanted spring crop being sighted all around the parish amid much indignation from local folk. Secondly, my morning strolls with puppy Wilf around Carisbrooke Castle have seen me witness another invasive species with monotonous regularity, namely the oft-spotted takeaway remains, Latin name KFCS pacagus, strewn across the castle car parks. Apart from the obvious blot on the landscape, this trash represents a massive health hazard to said curious pup and other animals, domestic and wild. I had to risk my fingers to hook a pill packet out of his mouth only the other day. I told a fellow dog walker I spent a ridiculous amount of time devising in my mind a new circle of hell for the perpetrators of this crime, one where they would be force-fed polystyrene cartons and prodded with plastic forks in their tender parts. She offered the opinion that it was a symptom of a society where so much we once held dear has now gone to pot. This woman may well be right, and arguably the fly tipping that now goes on a weekly basis is a more sinister and worrying part of the problem. I know conscientious islanders do their bit about taking rubbish home, arrange litter picks on our beaches to try to turn back the tide of plastic in the oceans, and like the admirable Brock Silver, do their very best to bring this rubbish problem into the public consciousness. But this enemy within, who think nothing of avoiding their landfill taxes by dumping toxic junk all over the countryside, and the car park diners who think it's acceptable to use the tarmac where their souped-up boy racer mobiles sit as their waste bin, is on the rise. Is it a breakdown in values? Almost certainly, but better bin provision could help. Education is already in place, and resources to go after the fly tippers, with all the vigour given to less antisocial crimes, is a must if we're to conquer this problem. And let's name and shame. These people deserve no better. It's our island, so let's not blight the Wight.
And now what's on? What's on this weekend? This week on the Isle of Wight, the weekly indoor market at Ventnor Winter Gardens has resumed for the summer months. The market features a wide range of local stalls and runs each Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Stalls include handbags, vinyl, vintage collectibles, clothes and foodstuffs.
The Isle of Wight Humanist Society will host a lecture at the Riverside Centre, Newport, at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, entitled Do Animals Have a Theory of Mind? Julian Kaminsky, who is reading psychology at Portsmouth University, will discuss animals' understanding of the minds of others. All are welcome.
A D-Day exhibition at Shanklin Chine will be opened next Sunday, May the 19th, by the island's Lord Lieutenant, organised by the Isle of Wight Royal Marine Association, with 40 Royal Marine Commando 1942/46 Association. The exhibition will explore the role played by the Royal Marines and the US Rangers, the 2nd and 5th Battalions who were billeted in Shanklin and Sandown. There will also be a service of dedication and commemoration where the Marine Attaché, representing the US Ambassador, will plant a tree.
Do you love drawing or would you like to learn? Why not join the friendly and popular Cowes Library drawing group for beginners and improvers? The sessions are held on Tuesdays 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. and Thursdays 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. £15 per session. Email Bethany at littlebird@therhubarbtree.com for more details, or contact Cowes Library on 293341.
And Ventnor Flower Arrangement Club will welcome the award-winning Marla Williams, who will give a demonstration entitled All Things Bright and Beautiful at Whitwell Village Hall at 2 p.m. on Thursday. Visitors most welcome. The cost is £5. And also at Ventnor Flower Arrangement Club will hold a plant sale and coffee morning next Saturday, May the 18th, at Whitwell Village Hall, 10 a.m. to 12:30.
Club Dance Pegasus have beginner-level ballroom and Latin dance classes every Tuesday evening at the Riverside Centre, Newport, followed by improver level, which include instruction and practice time. Intermediate classes are held on Thursday evenings. Come on your own or with a group of friends. Large dance floor, qualified dance instructors and licensed bar. For more information, visit www.pegasus-dance.co.uk or telephone 861 488.
A Mad Hatter's Tea Party will be held at Knights Court Retirement Home, High Street, Ventnor, at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. It has been organised by the Ventnor Townswomen's Guild and Cats Protection Isle of Wight. For further details, call Carol on 855328.
St Helens Historical Society is holding its AGM on Thursday, May 16th at 7 p.m. New committee members are needed. The AGM will be followed by a talk with slides entitled Charles I from Carisbrooke to Chopping Block by Kevin Shaw. There'll also be a raffle and tea. All are welcome. Entry free to members, £1 to entry free to members, £1 to non-members.
Braiding Men in Sheds meet on Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Braiding Youth Club. Everyone welcome to make things, learn things and drink tea.
Action on Hearing Loss will hold 2 drop-in sessions next week, one at Wootton Community Centre between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Thursday, and one at Ryde Methodist Church from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. next Friday, that's May the 17th. Come along for advice, batteries, cleaning and retubing of NHS hearing aids. No appointment necessary. For more information, please call 529 533.
And Gospel Hall in Landguard Road, Shanklin, holds a free coffee morning on Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. And also a coffee morning will be held at Sandown Methodist Church on Tuesday from 10:15 to 11:30 a.m.
A planted book sale will be held at Ryde Methodist Church Hall, Garfield Road next Saturday, that's May the 18th, between 10 a.m. and noon. Why not pop in to pick up some summer plants and a good book to read when you've put them in? Refreshments are available.
Shanklin Community Library runs its Keep Calm and Carry On sewing session every Wednesday between 10 a.m. and noon, and a calming colouring club on Friday afternoons from 1:45 p.m. All are welcome, with both sessions offering refreshments for a small donation.
Dementia UK's Chief Admiral Nurse Hilda Hayo will visit the island on Thursday. She'll be at Bembridge Village Hall to talk about the role of the Admiral nurses in communities and the support they give to families coping with dementia. She'll be answering questions and giving advice between 1:30 p.m. and 2:45 p.m.
And the Braiding Community Choir meets at St Mary's Church Hall, High Street, Braiding, on Tuesday from 7:15 to 8:45 p.m. All abilities and ages welcome. Excuse me. Under 18s must be accompanied by a parent or other appropriate adult. There's no audition, just turn up and sing.
Holy Cross Church Binstead opens for tea every Sunday afternoon from 2:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. There are homemade cakes and a peaceful and picturesque setting at the churchyard.
The Old School Cafe at Braiding Youth and Community Centre is open from 10 a.m. every Monday and Friday. Enjoy a game of pool, play darts, research your family history and meet new friends. It is dog friendly.
A bazaar is held every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon in the Village Hall, Bembridge. Stalls include handmade crochet and knitting, handmade cards, handmade jams, marmalades, chutneys and biscuits, handmade jewellery, crafting items, linens and bunting, bric-a-brac, children's toys, etc. There'll also be refreshments. There's no entrance fee, but there are Help for Heroes charity boxes available for contributions.
And in the West Wight of the island, Totland Bay Bowling Club will hold 2 open days on Sunday, May the 19th and May the 26th, starting at 2 p.m. for anyone who would like to try the game of flat green bowls. The club coaches and members will be on hand to help. Tea, coffee, biscuits and cake will be available.
Ryde Recorded Music Society are meeting at Ryde Methodist Church, Garfield Road at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Gilly Humphrey will be presenting symphonies, sonatas and songs.
And a benefit concert to support the Uzima Children's Centre in Kenya, Uzima Relief, starring Paul Armfield, the Accelerators, Bryce Stone Barnacles, Bertie Everson and Bay Waders, takes place at Freshwater Memorial Hall next Saturday, May the 18th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets £7 from the Cabin Freshwater, Yarmouth, Memorial Hall and West Wight Sports and Community Centre.
Cowes Heritage will hold its AGM at 7 p.m. on Tuesday at Cowes Methodist Church, Birmingham Road. Following a short business meeting, historian Sarah Burdett will give an illustrated talk on the 160-year history of the Cowes floating bridge, excluding the current model. Free entry and refreshments, all are welcome.
Freshwater Country Market meets in the Methodist Church Hall, Brookside, next Friday, May the 17th, between 9:30 and 11. Homemade jams, marmalade and chutney, plus cakes and other country-style food and crafts. Orders can be taken on 759721.
Are you aged 73 at present or due to celebrate your 73rd birthday before the end of August? A school reunion will be held at the Isle of Wight Community Club, Park Road, Cowes, at 1 p.m. next Friday, May the 17th, for anyone who attended school in the Cowes, East Cowes, Northwood and Gurnard areas.
The Alzheimer Cafe, Totland, meets at the Holy Family Centre, next to St Saviour's Church, on Wednesday between 2 p.m. and 4:30 p.m, with a presentation entitled The Bookcase Model. What Happens to Memory and Attention, with Kate Hall, afternoon tea to celebrate the cafe's 7th birthday, for all persons with dementia, their families, carers and professionals. New members are welcome.
A Friends of the Animals quiz is held at the Folly Inn, Whippingham at 7:45 p.m. on Tuesday, £3 per person. There'll also be a raffle. The Elephant Club, a free group activity designed to exercise your memory muscles, is held in the garden room at All Saints Gurnard Church from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Thursday. It's fun, gentle, caring, and there will be tea and biscuits. The Art and Craft Group at St Mary's meets on Thursday afternoons from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m, £1.50 in the parish room. Please ring Heather 298851 if you're interested. All are welcome. Help available to get started on art, knitting, crochet, card making, etc. The St Mark's Tuesday Discussion Group meets on Tuesday from 10:30 a.m. to noon. Sing About the Music Therapy Group meets on Thursday at 2 p.m. at St James's Church, East Cowes. Coffee and chat mornings are held every Thursday at East Cowes Methodist Church from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. On Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. until 12:30 p.m, the food bank in Cowes is open. Clients may receive food on presentation of a voucher. Donations can be received from the public. Cowes Library has a friendly and experienced family historian offering one-to-one sessions in helping with your family history, whether you're just starting out or have a family history problem. Sessions are held in Cowes Library on Monday mornings at an hourly rate of £6 and must be booked in advance. If this time is not convenient, speak to a member of staff who will try to arrange an alternative time. Bookings for either of these can be made by contacting Cowes Library on 293341.
And going back to the first half of the paper to read a few additional items. Shipping lane rescue. Fears a broken down fishing boat could drift into a Solent shipping lane sparked an urgent response by the Cowes RNLI lifeboat call-out last Saturday morning. The 20-foot fishing boat, with a man and woman on board, suffered engine failure south of Bramble Bank last Saturday morning, while apparently on passage from Southampton to East Cowes. With a northeasterly force 5-6 blowing, the lifeboat raced through the choppy seas to reach the vessel. A crew member climbed aboard the fishing boat, which was then towed to East Cowes Marina and met by the Bembridge Coast Guard rescue team.
There are a few more what's-ons to do with entertainment. First of all, catch the magical musical collaboration between acclaimed singers Boo Hewerdine and Darden Smith at Ventnor Arts Club this summer. The pair will be playing a handful of shows in the UK and will visit the island on Saturday, June the 8th. Boo Hewerdine and Darden Smith met 30 years ago. Their album Evidence, recorded in Austin, Texas, is a potent mix of Americana and Yukana and received rave reviews, among them an inclusion in the Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums book. The pair will be joined by guest musicians Sonny Landreth, Sid Straw and Rhys Winans. Boo said, "Darden and I are so excited to take our collaborative album on tour across the UK this May and June. This partnership holds a special place in both our hearts, and to team up and take it on the road is just fantastic." Both Darden and Boo have had successful solo careers, but Evidence remains a favourite. Last year they played a handful of shows in Scotland and England and were amazed and delighted to play out to sell-out audiences who knew every word. The duo hope to continue the trend this summer.
And Vectis Radio has paid tribute to its listeners, supporters and Tesco customers after a book sale at the supermarket raised almost £400. The community radio station, which needs funds for its 4Ps radio school for disadvantaged young people, asked listeners to donate any books. Station manager Ian Mack said, "Our studio was only just big enough to hold all the books. We are so grateful to them and to Tesco, who gave us the opportunity to sell them."
The Isle of Wight Jazz Weekend is 29th of May to the 2nd of June this year. It's called Echoes of Ellington, Ian Shaw, Sax Appeal, Tim Cliffius Trio, Gabriel Lachin Trio, Giorgio Mancio, Kate Williams, Jiving Miss Davis, Coltrane, Camilla George Quartet. Tickets on sale at Isle of Wight County Press now. See our website for all details. It's isleofwightjazzweekend.co.uk.
The figurehead of a yacht once owned by the royal family, which has never left the island until now, has sold for £64,480 at auction. Carved in lime wood by James Hellier, whose family of carvers became famous for their work on HMS Warrior and the Cutty Sark, the crouching deer-hound figurehead once adorned the Gellert RYS, owned by Queen Victoria's son-in-law, Prince Henry of Battenberg. 30 years after it was made, Prince Henry replaced the figurehead with a bust of his wife, Princess Beatrice. The figurehead was acquired in the 1960s from Cowes Yard, Ratsey and Lapthorne, and has remained on the island in the same family ever since. It went under the hammer at London auction house Charles Miller last Tuesday for the impressive sum, far surpassing the £15,000 to £20,000 it was originally expected to fetch.
A quick mention of Shanklin Theatre's programme for May and June. Saturday 11th of May, Forever in Blue Jeans. Thursday the 16th, Beyond the West End. Saturday the 18th, La Voix. Wednesday the 22nd, Hormonal Housewives. Thursday 23rd, Beyond the West End. Saturday 25th, Derek Acora. Wednesday 29th, Nick Lowe and Lost Straitjackets. Thursday the 30th, Beyond the West End. Friday 31st, Island Dance and Theatre Company, and that's also on Saturday the 1st of June. 2nd of June, Spotlight Show. Wednesday the 5th of June, Stuart Francis. Thursday the 6th, Beyond the West End. Friday the 7th, Henning Wen. Thursday 13th, Beyond the West End. And Thursday 20th, Beyond the West End.
And the island's household recycling and waste service has been shortlisted for an award. It has been shortlisted in the National Recycling Awards in the Local Authority Success category. Due to the efforts of the Isle of Wight Council's Waste and Recycling team, waste contractor Amy and island residents, the Isle of Wight has surpassed government's recycling targets. The target was to recycle 50% of all waste by 2020. The Isle of Wight's recycling rate last year was already 53.4%. Natasha Dix, Principal Manager for Waste and Recycling, hopes the island can be a national leader in recycling. She said, "I would like to thank residents for taking on board the reduce, reuse and recycle message to help us as an island in aiming to achieve this. The winners will be announced on June the 27th at a ceremony in London."
So that concludes the Talking newspaper for today, Friday the 10th of May. Goodbye, best wishes from Howard.
And goodbye from Jan.
Hello, this is the newsletter for Sight for Wight, the Isle of Wight Society for the Blind, for May 2019. We are based at Millbrook House, 137 Carisbrook Road, Newport on the Isle of Wight. Our telephone number is 01983 522205.
And we start with a message from the Chair of Trustees. Hello everyone. For those who don't know me, I am the new Chair of the Trustees. My name is Sue Bungay, and I am pleased and excited to be able to take on this role from Paul Rutherford. As you know, Paul has been Chair for the past 4 years, and I would like to thank him for his leadership during that time, also for his CEO Miriam's support during the changeover period. We have an exciting year ahead of us, fundraising to improve and sustain all our services to our V1 members. We hope to instigate our Key Stage 1 education programme, building on our relationship with schools. This will link into the national curriculum, promoting avoidable sight loss and raising awareness. To help us deliver this, we hope to acquire a bespoke vehicle, which will also be used to our outreach and fundraising venues. Our activities are varied, and with your suggestions and support, we hope to introduce new interests to experience. Dress for Less is full of gorgeous clothes, so if you have a special event coming up, Retail Manager Debbie and her team of volunteers are always available to help and advise. Please have a look at our update website. I think you will find it most useful and interesting. There are often items linked to us on social media. Chris Kane, our Marketing, Communications and Fundraising Manager, puts informative and entertaining videos on there. All this is possible because of our wonderful volunteers and committed staff who all put in many extra hours to make Sight for Wight such a positive place to be. Sue Bungay, Chair of Trustees.
Now we have a spring message from the CEO. It's official. Spring is apparently happening earlier each year, with birds nesting and flowers blooming progressively earlier. While spring often brings a variety of weather, I suspect most of us enjoy the days becoming longer and warmer and are inclined to want to spend more time getting out and about. Well, in this newsletter we certainly have a number of new activities and opportunities that I trust will encourage you to do just that. Member services. We have a couple of new regular monthly coffee mornings in Ryde and Cowes that all are welcome to, and activities ranging from singing to more swimming to share with you. And how about a visit to the zoo? You will find all the details later in this newsletter and on our New Look website. Other news I'd like to share with you is the establishment of a closer partnership working with the RNIB, that's the Royal National Institute of Blind People. Sight for Wight and RNIB will, in future, deliver jointly the confidence building programmes, typically delivered twice each year on the island as a one-day programme. This programme is intended particularly for those who have recently undergone a considerable worsening of their sight loss and would benefit from both emotional and practical support. For several years past, Sight for Wight visually impaired member and trustee Ruth Hollingshead has represented Sight for Wight during these RNIB sessions. during the session on what support is available locally. However, following a recent RNIB training session at Millbrook House with no fewer than 5 Sight for Wight team members participating, this larger Sight for Wight team will play an even greater role in delivering these confidence-building programmes in the future.
2020 Vision. As mentioned in the February newsletter, shared at the recent AGM and referenced by Sight for Wight's new chair, Sue Bungay, some big news for 2019 is the launch of the Sight for Wight 2020 Vision campaign. Our 2020 Vision campaign has 2 key elements: a Sight for Wight education programme and a Sight for Wight outreach vehicle. You will find more information about our 2020 Vision on pages 12 and 13. We want to raise awareness of what we can all do to promote avoidable sight loss and how Sight for Wight supports those islanders affected by sight loss. We are keen to involve the wider island community in helping us deliver some exciting new plans. Can you help us achieve our 2020 Vision? Perhaps your church group or social group would like to get involved. All help with this project will be much appreciated, whether it's volunteering as an ambassador for Sight for Wight, speaking on our behalf to island community groups about our work and encouraging them to support us, or whether it's holding a cake bake sale, challenge event or quiz to raise money. For anyone volunteering as an ambassador, we provide full support, resources and training. For those wishing to fundraise directly on our behalf, we can support you with materials, guidance and publicity. If you would like to get involved in any way, either by raising awareness or raising funds, please get in touch.
Building use changes at Millbrook House. For those who attended the AGM or have kept abreast of news on our website, you'll already be aware of the outcome of the Millbrook House Working Party report. You may recall that the trustees were invited to consider the current and future use of Millbrook House at the strategic planning meeting held in August 2017 and subsequently agreed in February last year, 2018, to a formal review. A Millbrook House Working Party made up of visually impaired members, staff and a trustee representative was established to gather and analyse all of the relevant facts and needs to be considered. The Working Party held 3 formal meetings together and individual members undertook further research in between meetings. This enabled a full evaluation of how we currently use Millbrook House, including an analysis of how many members participate in events and activities at Millbrook House. Consideration was given to the changing needs of members and also given to the space required to deliver member services such as the talking news and audio library and the accommodation required for the governance and administrative needs of the charity. Consideration was also given to the costs entailed in relocating the administration of the charity to alternative premises and to potential revenue generated from making more effective use of the rooms at Millbrook House. A full report, supported by further detail in a series of appendices, was presented to the trustees for consideration at their February 2019 meeting. I'm pleased to report that the trustees highly commended the diligence and thoroughness of the Working Party and supported the 4 broad recommendations made, which are summarised as follows. 1. Recognise the need to deliver more member services not at Millbrook House but island-wide. 2. Retain Millbrook House as the administrative base for the charity. 3. Utilise spare rooms at Millbrook House to generate revenue from tenants. And 4. Undertake regular reviews of the use of Millbrook House. Now that the trustees have approved all of the recommendations of the Millbrook House Working Party, work is currently in progress to implement the above and it is hoped that we will welcome some long-term tenants at Millbrook House to make a significant contribution to our overhead costs.
Transport needs of members. Working party. Nominations sought. The model of establishing a working party made up of a small group of members, volunteers, staff plus a trustee representative to consider a subject in depth was deemed so successful that we have determined to establish a similar body to give detailed consideration to the future of transport needs and provision for members. The working party will be invited to contribute to the preparation of a formal report that will be prepared by me as CEO, to be presented to the trustees early in 2020. This will again inform and assist their strategic planning and decision making. Would those interested in joining the working party please complete a nomination form, enclosed as a separate sheet, and return it to Millbrook House by Wednesday the 17th of July. There are 3 formal meetings of the working party scheduled at the Millbrook House on the following Tuesdays between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Tuesday the 10th of September, Tuesday the 19th of November 2019, and Tuesday the 21st of January 2020. In addition, working party members will be invited to undertake visits to some other premises / transport dividers between the first meeting in September and the second meeting in November.
Trustee and staff team member changes at Millbrook House. You will have identified that we have recently said goodbye and thank you to Paul Rutherford as chairman, who helped steer the charity through some significant changes in the past couple of years. We are delighted that he remains an active trustee, fundraiser and volunteer. In the role of chair, we have formally welcomed trustee Sue Bungay, who for several years past has served as vice chair and HR committee member. We have also said goodbye and thank you to trustee John Lockley, who has served as treasurer for several past years. We are delighted that John remains an active volunteer with a key role supporting the audio library team. In the role of treasurer and vice chair, we have welcomed Christina Conroy, OBE, who joined the trustees of Sight for Wight in November 2018, bringing with her a wealth of professional experience. It is anticipated that we will shortly take on an administration apprentice to provide particular support with fundraising and general administration. So visitors or callers to Millbrook House from May onwards may be greeted by a new voice. Another recruitment process is also underway, as we will shortly be saying goodbye and thank you to our volunteers manager as Michelle plans her retirement. We are endeavouring to persuade Michelle to join the volunteers' summer party as a special guest, so that the many volunteers with whom Michelle has had contact over the past 3 years have the opportunity to formally wish her a long and happy retirement. Miriam Tong, Chief Executive, Sight for Wight.
Bright for Sight. We have written to all primary schools highlighting the importance of wearing sunglasses to protect eyes from UV damage, which is known to contribute significantly to macular degeneration and the formation of cataracts. We have invited them to support us by holding a Mufti Day at school with pupils wearing sunglasses and bright clothing.
The Sight for Wight 100 Club. Thank you to our new 100 Club members who joined this quarter of the 100 Club. There are still a few numbers left, so if you wish to join to have a chance of winning our monthly prize, please call 522205 or email Lisa on finance@iwsb.org.uk. The more people who join, the bigger the monthly prize. It's just £2 per month per number. Could 29 or 92, which are both available, be your lucky number? Congratulations to this quarter's winners, Michelle Taylor, Rinnie Badger and Audrey Caitlin. And the Waverley Quiz. June 2019. A quiz is being held at the Waverley pub in Carisbrooke on Thursday the 20th of June in support of Sight for Wight. The quiz starts at 7:30 p.m, teams of 4 at £3 per person. Food is not included but may be ordered before the quiz. Please pre-book tables by calling the Waverley on 522 338.
Be My Eyes. We were recently contacted by Kirsty, a member of the public, who has been using an app called Be My Eyes to assist visually impaired people with day-to-day tasks. She had just helped someone to select the correct setting on his washing machine and wanted to share the information about the app and how it works. Be My Eyes is an app made up of a global community that connects people with a visual impairment with sighted volunteers through a live video call. It has won a raft of awards since 2015 for design, innovation and accessibility. The app harnesses the power of generosity, technology and human connection to help visually impaired people lead more independent lives. On the app, volunteers assist blind and low vision users through a live video connection and work together to tackle challenges and handle a wide range of tasks. Through the live video call, the visually impaired person and the volunteer can communicate directly and solve a problem. The tasks can be big or small, including checking expiry dates, distinguishing colours, reading instructions or navigating new surroundings. The volunteer will help guide which direction to point your camera, what to focus on, or when to turn on your torch. As a sighted volunteer, you can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app. Be My Eyes' goal is to make the world more accessible to people who are blind or have a low level of vision. They couldn't do this without the help and dedication of the community. The app is accessible in more than 150 countries worldwide and in over 180 languages. The app is free and available for both iOS and Android.
In Your Pocket. In Your Pocket is a portable media device and smartphone which has been designed specifically for people with a visual impairment. We were lucky to be sent a demonstration handset in March for our members to trial. As well as having it available at our weekly low vision drop-in session, we also took it to the Sight Loss Awareness Day, which was held at the Riverside Centre. The handset differs from other phones available on the market in that it is solely voice activated and the screen only works when the voice activation is overridden. This means that it is suitable for people with all levels of sight loss. It took a bit of time to get used to the various voice commands, but once I knew what I was doing, I found it very easy to use. It worked well in both quiet and noisy environments, picking up what I was telling it to do. Headphones were also provided, which were useful for hearing more clearly and for privacy. Overall, I was impressed and I look forward to hearing feedback from people who bought the device following the trial.
2020 Vision. Please help us to deliver our 2020 Vision, an island-wide Key Stage 1 education programme that links sight loss and promoting avoidable sight loss to the national curriculum across a range of subjects. The aim is to develop, pilot and finalise an education programme to be offered to all primary schools on the island over a 2-year period to reach all Key Stage 1 pupils and their families. Our 2020 Vision will deliver inspiring, engaging and fun learning for pupils, high quality outreach education that supports the curriculum, take-home packs for pupils to involve parents, carers and the wider family, benefits to visually impaired islanders through widening understanding of the impact of sight loss and increasing empathy with those who experience visual impairment. For more information or to get involved, please contact 01983 522205 or email 2020vision@iwsb.org.uk or visit our website iwsb.org.uk.
New Sight for Wight website. From the 1st of April 2019, Sight for Wight launched a brand new website which is much more aesthetically pleasing for sighted people and easier to navigate for visually impaired people. Wight Computers are the brains behind the new design and worked extremely hard in creating a brand new look based on information from the old website. Myself and Miriam Tong, CEO. Special thanks must go to John Collingwood and Jamie Stone, but the whole team at Wight Computers were amazing and we are very grateful for all they've done. The new website has much more content and the capacity for more photographs. We would be delighted to have any feedback on the new website, so please let me know what you think by emailing me. admin@iwsb.org.uk. Chris Kane, Marketing, Communications and Fundraising Manager.
Audiobooks. The Sight for Wight collection of audiobooks on CDs is available on free loan to our visually impaired members. Members are sent a list of books by author and title from which they select their preferences. Audiobooks are sent out by post as articles for the blind in protective, reusable wallets. Once finished, members return the book by the same means. On receipt back at Millbrook House, another title is sent out in accordance with your preferences. If you would like to sign up to receive audiobooks from the Sight for Wight collection, please contact us on 522205 or email inquiries at iwsb.org.uk. For those interested in a wider selection of titles or books in other formats such as large print, braille or on a USB stick, there are services available from other providers. One from the RNIB Library, which has over 30,000 books available and is free to visually impaired people. Their website is www.rnib.org.uk. Two from Calibre Audio Library, which has over 10,000 titles available on CD and USB memory stick. There is a one-off fee of £35 to join, then the service is free. Visit them on www.calibre.org.uk. 3. Seeing Ear also have an extensive online library which is growing steadily. It is free for visually impaired people. Their website is www.seeingear.org. 4. The Isle of Wight Council Library Service has a free app which enables you to borrow e-books and e-audiobooks. Ask in the library for information.
My Guide training opportunities for 2019. We have been continuing with the popular My Guide training sessions. The training dates for 2019 are as follows: Thursday the 23rd of May, Monday the 24th of June, Thursday the 18th of July, Monday the 23rd of September, Tuesday the 15th of October and Tuesday the 3rd of December. Training takes place at Millbrook House. Level 1 runs in the morning, with Level 2 following in the afternoon. Level 1 covers the training required to be a community sighted guide, allowing you to feel confident to offer assistance to visually impaired people, both out in the community and in the role of Sight for Wight sighted guide. Level 2 builds on the training and teaches the skills and confidence required to be a My Guide. A My Guide volunteers around 2 to 3 hours a week to work with a visually impaired person, helping them towards agreed goals and increased independence. We are pleased to have welcomed volunteers from Independent Arts, which is a charity on the island that runs the Sing About sessions. As we have recently started to attend their sessions with our members, it is great to be able to teach their volunteers the techniques required to be a community sighted guide and assist someone with a visual impairment. If you are interested in the training at either level 1 or 2, please contact Laura Jasper to register your interest on 01983 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk.
A visit to the West Wight alpacas. On the 1st of March, I was part of a group of 15 members and volunteers who made their way out to the West Wight alpaca farm at Wellow for a visit. We were lucky with the weather, as it was bright and sunny and reasonably dry underfoot. We were given a guided tour by 2 members of staff, beginning with a look at the pigs, Gloria and Claire, and the miniature goats. Then it was round to the first lot of alpacas, who were joined by Gordon Ramsay, a huge, rather handsome, curly-horned sheep. We were told about the different types of alpacas and introduced to the herd. I was particularly fond of the babies from last year, who will make up the farm's show stock. There were several donkeys, llamas, and a variety of sheep and ducks, including muscovies and runner ducks. Lastly, it was on to look at the different types of chickens, ranging from tiny hens with delicate lace-patterned wings to massive cockerels with fluffy bottoms that looked like cauliflowers. After seeing the animals, we headed into the cafe for a hot drink and a well-earned piece of cake, as well as a browse around the small farm shop. A lovely time was had by all, and that was written by Ruth Hollingshead.
Gary from the Isle of Wight Zoo returns. On the 6th of March, the Wednesday social group members were delighted to welcome back Gary Harbour from the Isle of Wight Zoo, along with some of his friends. Gary brought along with him a boa constrictor, a chameleon, a Salcutta tortoise, a giant millipede, and a leopard gecko, all courtesy of White Piper's Exotic Pets and Supplies. As he has done previously, Gary kindly gave us time to educate and entertain our members on his day off. They all really enjoyed the afternoon and look forward to another visit.
Access to Work scheme. In the February newsletter, our visually impaired finance officer, Lisa, wrote about her personal experience of using the Access to Work scheme. Following on from that article, given that the percentage of sight-impaired employees in the general workplace is significantly below the percentage of sight-impaired individuals of working age, we thought it useful to include this article on the government's Access to Work scheme. This is a great scheme that benefits both employers and employees and is perhaps not as widely understood as it might be, either by potential employees affected by health conditions or disabilities that make it hard to do their jobs, or by smaller businesses and charities without specialist HR officers or departments. The government website page, www.gov.uk/access-to-work, provides full information for employers and employees. Below is a brief extract taken from the government website that summarises key information. If you are disabled or have a physical or mental health condition that makes it hard for you to do your job, you can talk to your employer about changes they must make in your workplace and apply for access to work if you need extra help. If the help you need at work is not covered by your employer making reasonable adjustments, you may be able to get help from Access to Work. You need to have a paid job or be about to start or return to one. You'll be offered support based on your needs, which may include a grant to help cover the costs of practical support in the workplace. An Access to Work grant can pay for special equipment, adaptations or support worker services to help with things like answering the phone or going to meetings, and help getting to and from work. You might not get a grant if you already get certain benefits. The money does not have to be paid back and will not affect your other benefits.
Bucket collections in aid of Sight for Wight. We have been invited to hold bucket collections in aid of Sight for Wight at both Morrison's and Asda supermarkets. We will be at Morrison's in Newport on Tuesday the 14th of May and Thursday the 16th of May between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. We will then be at Asda in Newport on Monday the 24th of June and Saturday the 20th of July between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. As always, the support of our volunteers would be appreciated if you are able to spare an hour or two. Please contact the Volunteers Manager on 522205 if you are able to help. We would love to see some of our members at these events, so please come along and say hello.
Supper Club Spring Sensations. Superfood. A study recently published in the medical journal The Lancet has identified the value of a superfood that evidently 90% of us are not getting enough of. This superfood promotes longevity, reduces the chances of debilitating heart attacks and strokes, as well as lifelong diseases such as type 2 diabetes. This superfood helps keep our weight, blood pressure and cholesterol levels down. It's also cheap and readily available. So what is it? Fibre. Foods that are high in fibre are fruit and vegetables, whole grain breakfast cereals, wholemeal bread, whole grain pasta and whole grain pulses such as beans, lentils and chickpeas, as well as nuts and seeds. The study identifies that we should be eating a minimum of 25 grams of fibre a day. But to really improve our health, we should aim for 30 grams a day. But what is 30 grams a day? The following examples were provided. Half a cup of rolled oats is 9 grams of fibre. 2 Weetabix are 3 grams of fibre. A thick slice of wholemeal bread is 2 grams of fibre, and a cup of cooked lentils, well, that's 4 grams of fibre. The skin on a cooked potato is 2 grams of fibre, and a carrot is 3 grams of fibre. The skin on apple is 4 grams of fibre. An easy way to enjoy a great start to the day that will help keep the spring in your step is a bowl of porridge, packed with fibre. Put half a cup of porridge oats in a bowl with some added nuts, seeds and fruit to taste. I love pumpkin seeds and a small handful of dried sultanas. Just cover with the milk of your choice. It's good with dairy or non-dairy milk like soya or almond. Then pop in the microwave on high for 2 to 3 minutes. Allow to stand and add a little more cold milk to achieve the consistency you prefer. With added soft fruit just coming into season, I find this is not just a good breakfast dish, but a sustaining late afternoon snack that stops me from craving a slice of cake or a couple of biscuits to keep me going until supper time. A tasty spring bowl packed full of fibre is red lentil and tomato soup, topped with some fresh basil, especially if eaten with some tasty wholemeal bread. Try the recipe below.
Red lentil and tomato soup, dairy-free and gluten-free. Basic ingredients for 2 portions. 1 onion peeled and finely chopped. 2 teaspoonfuls of olive oil. 2 large garlic cloves, crushed, optional, 1 tin of chopped tomatoes, 85 grams of red lentils, 1 gluten-free stock cubes, vegetable or chicken according to preference, a generous tablespoon of your favourite vegetable oil for cooking. The method: put the kettle on while you slice the onion, heat the oil in a medium pan, add the onion and gently cook for a couple of minutes whilst you crush the garlic and open the can. Add these to the pan and cook briefly. Add in 1 litre of boiling water, stir in the lentils and crumbled stock cube. Cover the pan and cook over a medium heat for 15 minutes until the lentils are tender. Check and adjust the seasoning to taste, adding some fresh basil if you have them. And top tips with that is try adding a little ground coriander in the seasoning for a little warmth. And 2, this recipe will freeze well. So if you are cooking for one, eat half fresh and freeze the other.
Events 2019. Sight for Wight is hoping to attend the following shows this year, subject to volunteer support. If anyone would like to help, then please contact our volunteers manager on 522205 or email volunteers@iwsb.org.uk. So we are looking at Isle of Wight Pride on the 20th of July, the Chail Show on the 3rd and 4th of August, the Island Steam Show on the 23rd, 24th, 25th and 26th of August, and Wolverton Manor on the 31st of August and 1st of September. In addition to the traditional shows, I will be attending Fan TC Con on the 24th and 25th of August, which is a pop culture fan trade and comic convention for geeks and nerds to enjoy and embrace their passion together in one place. Our Sight for Wight Dalek will be on duty for photographs. At IslandCon last year, he raised £102 just by generous people donating money to have their photo taken with him. Guests this year include Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor, John Leeson, the voice of K9, and much more. Please come along and support us. Chris Kane, Marketing, Communications and Fundraising Manager.
New activities. The new God's Coffee Morning has been running for a few months now and is proving to be popular. The group meets on the second Thursday of each month between 10:30 and 11:45 a.m. The venue is very sociable with easy access and the refreshments are delicious. April saw the first visit to the Wootton Sing-About session. This is run by Independent Arts and is a really enjoyable afternoon. We will be attending on the first Wednesday of each month between 2 and 4 p.m. Refreshments are provided. The group leader ensures that many of the songs are well known or easy to pick up. A good singing voice is not required, luckily for me, just a willingness to join in. Our members had a great afternoon, as did I, and I am looking forward to next month. We also attended the West Wight Swimming Pool Special Care Session. Sight for Wight will be joining this session on the third Wednesday of each month between 12 noon and 1 p.m. There are extra staff on hand to assist and the pool is warmed slightly to make it more comfortable. The group who attended the first session enjoyed it and we hope to see them again next month. For more information on these and other activities, please see pages 32 to 35 of this newsletter or call 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk. Laura Jasper, Member Services Manager.
And now a report from Debbie Durbridge, who is the retail manager for our lovely Dress for Less shop. I have now been at Dress for Less for 1 year. time really does fly by when you enjoy yourself. It has been an amazing year, and I'm very grateful to everyone for their continued support. Together, we have achieved so much. Since my last newsletter, we have made changes to the shop layout and installed new retail display units, which has meant we can show many more of our items at their very best to our customers. As the wedding season is fast approaching, sales are growing in this area with the help of some new mannequins that display complete outfits beautifully. If you have a special occasion this summer, don't forget to come to Dress for Less first, where we will always be very happy to see you and help you get that perfect outfit. I'm delighted to welcome Belinda, Zoe and Denise to our team. I really do appreciate your support and hope that you enjoy your valuable time with us.
Volunteer News Round. Welcome. We are pleased to welcome 2 new volunteers who join the Society to support Dress for Less. Au revoir. We sadly say goodbye to 2 long-time volunteers. Firstly, one of our home visitors who has been with the Society for 11 years, Kay Cooper, who we wished well with a bouquet of flowers on her retirement. Secondly, Mike, our minibus driver, sadly leaves us to retire after 9 years supporting the Society and its members, particularly the Thursday social group. This group, together with staff, bid Mike a fond farewell and presented him with a card of thanks and some wine to celebrate his retirement. Mike very kindly offered a farewell message to the Society and those he supported as follows. I had been a professional driver all my working life. On retirement, I wanted to do something for those people who now could not drive. Over the 9 years or so that I have drove the handicraft social group, we developed a camaraderie which was very relaxed. Their positively, despite their difficulties, is inspiring, and I thank them sincerely for their company. I also benefited from the help of an escort who made my role easy and enjoyable. I am missing them already.
Volunteer vacancies. We have volunteer vacancies in various roles. Car drivers, mileage paid, minibus escort, minibus drivers, home visitors, sighted guides for our monthly walks, Dress for Less, and support with fundraising and events throughout the summer months of 2019. We continue to recruit for My Guide volunteers, which is a short-term work on a weekly basis, working closely with members who would like support with increasing their confidence in mobilising agreed distances outside of their home, usually to attend regular social events or go for a walk and coffee. Full training will be provided. We have a waiting list of members who would like this service. Dates for your diary. The 23rd of May, My Guide training levels 1 and 2 at Millbrook House. The 11th of June, volunteer party, invitations to follow. 24th of June, My Guide training levels 1 and 2 at Millbrook House. 10th of September at 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at Millbrook House. 10th of December 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Millbrook House are the volunteer updates. Michelle writes, my retirement. I write this insert with mixed feelings of sadness and excitement looking forwards to the next phase of my life. I will be retiring from Sight for Wight and indeed work on Tuesday the 7th of May. I am sure many of you can relate to the same feelings when this time approaches, but I am frequently told that I will be so busy I won't have time to work. I remember starting work for my dear Nana when I was a teenager, spring cleaning her hotel bedrooms during the winter months, and from then on have always worked in many diverse locations and settings around the country, mainly in hotel management and local authority social service settings.
My leanings were always towards wanting to help people in various settings and environments. It has been a pleasure to end my working life with an island charity whose caring intentions, professionalism and integrity to support visually impaired islanders has been an inspiration to me. I have been humbled by the dedication, care and commitment of our volunteer team, whom I have always endeavoured to support, encourage and motivate along the way, usually wrapping it up with something funny to make us smile or a word of genuine thanks when I felt it was appropriate, which has been often. My colleagues have always been very supportive and caring, enabling us to work together as a really successful team under the leadership of our inspirational and driven CEO. Our trustees too have been approachable and so giving of their time. I can truly say that I have laughed so much along the way, and although my job at times has been demanding, I have enjoyed the challenge of trying to achieve successful and positive outcomes for our members at all times. I have always embraced change and found it exciting, so I'm looking forward to the next chapter and would like to wish the new Volunteers Manager success and happiness in their new role. Sincerely, Michelle Taylor, Volunteers Manager.
2019 Training Opportunities for Volunteers. Sighted Guide Training for Volunteers, that's My Guide Level 1. It is recommended that all volunteers participate in this training to gain some understanding of and insight into sight loss, as well as learning the essentials of sighted guide training. Refresher training every 2 years is recommended. Please see details of the My Guide Level 1 training sessions on page 17. The dates are the 23rd of May, 24th of June, 18th of July, 23rd of September, 15th of October and 3rd of December. The times are 9:15 to 12:30. Sight for Wight Professional Boundaries and Safeguarding Training. The date, Tuesday, 8th of October 2019. Time, 9:15 to 12:30. The course aims to give an understanding of the importance, principles and practical application of professional boundaries and safeguarding, and is tailored specifically for Sight for Wight. Recommended for all volunteers who work closely with members, with participation in refresher sessions every 2 years. Sight for Wight Health and Safety Awareness Training. The date, Tuesday the 8th of October 2019. Time, 13:15 to 16:30. This course aims to give an understanding of the importance and principles of health and safety in the workplace and will be tailored specifically to the needs of Sight for Wight. Recommended for any volunteer in the role of ambassador or involved in events or activities at external venues when no staff member is present. Sight for Wight Food Hygiene Awareness Training. Date, Tuesday the 5th of November 2019. The time, 9:15 to 12:30. The course aims to give an understanding of the importance and principles of food hygiene in the workplace and will be tailored specifically to the needs of Sight for Wight. Recommended for any volunteer in the role of welcome host. Sight for Wight Emergency Aid Training. The date, Tuesday, 5th of November 2019. Time, 1300 to 16:30. The course aims to give you the confidence to deal with an emergency situation and is tailored specifically to the needs of Sight for Wight. Recommended for all volunteers who work closely with members, especially in the absence of staff members, with participation in refresher sessions every 2 years. For all training opportunities, on successful completion of any training programme, you will receive a Sight for Wight certificate. Refreshments are provided for all programmes. Please contact the Volunteers Manager to register your interest.
What's on at Sight for Wight? Ride Swimming Group. Our swimming group meets every Tuesday evening from 8 p.m. until 8:45 p.m. at the Waterside Pool in Ryde. They have exclusive use of the pool during this session. The group is open to any visually impaired person who is a keen swimmer or who just enjoys being in the water. The pool's lifeguards are in attendance during the session. Pre-registering with the Society is essential, otherwise you may be refused admittance. The cost is £5 to swim. The West Wight Swimming Group. On the third Wednesday of each month, members join the West Wight Swimming Pool Special Care Session. This runs from 12 noon till 1 p.m. The pool temperature is raised and extra staff are on hand to offer assistance. The pool's lifeguards are in attendance during the session. The cost is £4.20 to swim. Wednesday Coffee Morning. We hold a coffee morning each week on a Wednesday at Millbrook House from 10 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. All are welcome to join us for a cup of tea or coffee and cake. The cost is £1 and the group is open to all, not just members. On the first Wednesday of each month, we are joined by the Macular Society for their monthly meet-up. Wednesday, low vision drop-in. Every Wednesday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. we hold a low vision drop-in session. This coincides with the coffee morning and allows you to view and try the low vision equipment we have at the Society without the need for an appointment. If this time is not suitable for you, then you are welcome to call the Society to make an appointment to view our low vision equipment.
Thursday Social Group. The Thursday Social Group meets every week from 10:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. at Millbrook House, where they engage with other visually impaired people. They socialise and enjoy lunch together. In the afternoon, the group welcome volunteers who come in to read from various books. The weekly cost to join the group is £3. Monthly Book Group. Sight for Wight hold a book group on the second Wednesday of each month at the Lord Louis Library in Newport. The group runs from 2 p.m. for about an hour. We discuss the last month's book and then hand out the book for the next month. Books are available on USB stick or CD. Refreshments are provided and guide dogs are welcome. There is no charge to join the book group. If you would like more information, please call Laura Jasper on 01983 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk. Sing About. On the first Wednesday of the month, members join the Wootton Sing About session, which is run by Independent Arts. Sing About is a social singing activity which can help improve memory, breathing and confidence. It is a great opportunity to meet new people and all are welcome. The session runs from 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. at St Mark's Church. Refreshments are provided. There is no cost for the session, although donations to Independent Arts are appreciated. Strollers. Strollers meet on the second Tuesday of the month. They go for gentle strolls, enjoying the countryside or coastal views. This is followed by lunch at a pub or restaurant. The group is open to all visually impaired people who like a leisurely walk of about a mile. The cost to walk with the group is £3.
Striders. Striders meet on the last Friday of every month. They walk on different routes around the island and then finish off with lunch at a local pub or restaurant. This group is open to all visually impaired people who like longer walks in the countryside. The cost to walk with the group is £3. Bowling. The bowling group meets once a month at the LA Bowl in Ryde. The cost is £3.95 for one game and shoe hire. This is followed by refreshments and a chat at the bar. Please note there is no transport for this group. Golf. The golfers meet once a month on a Sunday morning at Westridge Golf Club in Ryde. The group go onto the driving ranges and out onto the course. An instructor is available to help out beginners. The golf session lasts around an hour and is followed by refreshments and a chat in the cafe. Transport may be available to some of the groups. The cost for the minibus is £2. If you are interested in joining any of the activities, please contact the Society for more information on 01983 52205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk. Site for Wight Coffee Mornings. We hold a number of coffee mornings around the Isle of Wight. A volunteer or staff member will be there to offer information and support. They can also bring along low vision equipment from the Society on request. Come along and join us at the following locations.
On Tuesday, it's the Knighton Coffee Morning, which is held on the first Tuesday of each month at the Knighton Post Office, 10 a.m. till 11:45 a.m. Refreshments can be purchased from the Post Office Cafe. The Freshwater Coffee Morning is held on the last Tuesday of each month at the End of the Line Cafe, 10:30 a.m. until 11:45 a.m. Also, refreshments there can be purchased from the cafe. And the Ryde Coffee Morning is held on the last Tuesday of each month at Costa Coffee, High Street, Ryde, 10:30 until 11:45 a.m. And also refreshments can be purchased from the coffee shop. On Wednesdays, we hold a weekly coffee morning on Wednesdays at Millbrook House, Newport, from 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. A cup of tea or coffee and a slice of cake is £1. On the first Wednesday of each month, we are joined by the Maculus Society for their meet-up. Thursdays, it's the Cows Coffee Morning, which is held on the first Thursday of each month at Costa Coffee, High Street, Cowes, 10:30 a.m. till 11:45 a.m. Refreshments can be purchased from the coffee shop. The God's Hill Coffee Morning is held on the second Thursday of each month at the Old Smithy Coffee Shop, 10:30 a.m. till 11:45 a.m. And there again, refreshments can be purchased from the coffee shop.
Save the date. Dates for your diary. A tour of Tesco and afternoon tea. Description of the activity. The venue is Tesco Ryde, Isle of Wight. The date is Thursday the 27th of June 2019. The start time, meet at 1:45 p.m. at Tesco main entrance. Cost is no charge for the tour and refreshments are provided. The closing date for applications is Friday the 7th of June 2019. Transport may be available depending on location. Description of the activity. Join us for a tour behind the scenes at Tesco, afternoon tea and cake, a quiz about the store and a raffle. Please be aware that there will be quite a bit of walking around the store during this tour. Spaces are limited, so please register your early interest. Please note, all activities are subject to demand and availability of volunteers for driving and supporting as sighted escort guides. If any activity is oversubscribed, applications will be drawn from a hat and a waiting list will be made for priority selection on a repeat visit.
Join us for the members' summer social on Thursday the 20th of June. This year we are doing something a bit different and invite all members to join us at the Ryde Castle for lunch. We had a great Christmas dinner there in 2018, so have decided to return for a sociable lunch, official invites and menu to follow. But to register your interest and request a menu, please call 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk.
Royal Victoria Yacht Club Open Day. Details of activity. The venue is 91 Fishbourne Lane in Fishbourne. The date is Saturday the 6th of July. The time is 10:30 until 4:30. Approximate course cost. The event is free of charge, but the charge for the minibus is £3. If you wish to make your own way there, please still apply through Sight for Wight, as the Royal Victoria Yacht Club has reserved a certain number of spaces for us. Description of activity. The Royal Victoria Yacht Club has a long-standing tradition of inviting people with disabilities to enjoy a day at their club. A large number of guests of all ages enjoy a day at the club and trips out on the Solent. There are fast ribs out to Osborne Bay and slower boats for a potter up and down Wootton Creek, shoreside. Shoreside guests are treated to refreshments and music. There is usually a tombola as well. As usual, this promises to be a great day out and will be very popular, so please register your interest early. Please note, all activities are subject to demand and availability of volunteers for driving and supporting as sighted escort guides. For more information, please contact 01983 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk.
Hold the date. We are planning a visit to the Isle of Wight Zoo on the 29th of August. More details will follow. More information, please call 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk. And for 2019 Members Forum dates, Members Forums will be held on the following dates: Wednesday the 17th of July, 11:30 a.m. till 1 p.m. Wednesday the 16th of October, 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. To be added to the email list for Members Forum updates, including agenda, location, etc., please email members@iwsb.org.uk. And that's the end of the newsletter.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Hello from the Guide Dogs UK Centre in Liverpool, where we'll be finding out how and why the charity is changing the way it trains its dogs. And memories of this. The organ thankfully saved from the Notre Dame fire. Now, developing trust between human and guide dog is the key to a successful partnership. And one way of fostering that relationship is by praising the dog when they do something good. Stands to reason. Well, when I trained with my first guide dog in Australia way back in 1995, we were taught in a way that was very black and white. For example, the dog stops at the curb as it should, give it lots of praise. The dog doesn't stop at the curb, leading you into the road. We were taught to say no in a low, firm voice, and sometimes to give a sharp jerk on the harness handle to reinforce a message that behaviour was definitely not on, especially if you felt your safety had been at risk. Since then, there's been a gentle shift away from the firm voice and the physical corrections. And when I trained with my fourth dog, Frankie, in London in July last year, it was very much centred on positive reinforcement training, or PRT, where the dog is given virtually no negative feedback, and instead of just lovely praise and appreciation, they are given lovely treats as well. Quite a lot of lovely treats, which does worry some people, given dogs' natural tendency to scavenge and put on weight. And now this PRT is being rolled out across all guide dogs training centres. So how exactly does this training work? Trainers Nina Swindles and Jan Johnston explain more. We've come straight upstairs at the Liverpool Training Centre here at Guide Dogs, and we're going into what is called a PRT room, Positive Reinforcement Training Room, which is a bit unusual. I thought we'd be heading straight outside, but so let's go and see what's in here. Open the door. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Lee.
Hi Lee, pleased to meet you. I'm Nina.
Hi,
I'm one of the
Nina.
guide dog trainers here at Liverpool.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, and I've got Pepper here with me.
Is that the tail I can
That's
hear?
what he's a very happy boy, yes.
Very happy boy. What is Pepper?
Pepper's a yellow Labrador male
Yeah.
who is 16 months old.
Oh.
He'll be 2 in August actually.
Nina and I was two of the first guide dog trainers here at Liverpool to start the STEP programme.
Right.
And this is our second, we're just going up to our third cycle now on the STEP programme. So yeah, we're loving it.
It is quite new,
loving
isn't it?
Yeah.
It is quite new. And do you feel it's still sort of bedding in? People still getting used to the idea?
Yeah, people are getting used to it, but I think when they look at the outcome and the results of the dogs in training, you know, people are really, really impressed with the new programme. Nina and I have both been trainers for 13 years, guide dog trainers. We've done different types of training throughout the years. Both Nina and I love this STEP programme. We think it's the best training that we've seen throughout the time we've been at Guide Dogs.
And what is the general response and reaction from guide dog owners?
Guide dog owners like it. We do get asked questions like, do I have to feed the dog all the time? How long do I have to feed the dog? My answer to that is, I think a good one, which someone said to me, is, well, as long as they're working, they get the wages, which is food. When they retire, you stop getting your wages, you know. So I do like that little saying. This is Farley.
Farley.
Farley. You
Oh.
can just put your hand over, you can feel...
Oh, there's a fence here, a little fence.
This is his little pen.
Oh, you got a pen, Farley?
And he's a really big, tall
Oh
lad.
my goodness, you're a
because
horse.
he is a horse, yeah, you can hear his tail.
Is part of the training then training their guide dog owner to know when to employ these treats and when perhaps not to? Or if your dog walks to a curb and stops, is the dog to expect a treat each time it does that?
I'd say not every time. Probably initially in those first early days, you'd like the dog to realise that it's still getting its reward, but it won't need a treat on every curb. It will get treated intermittently.
And then the treats are used to reinforce, as you say, targets that you want the dog to learn.
Yes, so it'd always keep that motivation going towards the crossing and getting a reward. And we're only talking about one piece of the dog's kibble, of its daily food allowance. We're not talking about, heavily having to feed the dog. Guide dog owners will have their own treat pouch, and it will be, once the dog gets to that destination, one piece of kibble is given to the dog as a reward.
The emphasis obviously is on the feeding, and we'll get on to in a moment. We'll look at how you're training the dogs with that. But I guess some people worry that the tone of voice won't matter anymore, that it's all about feeding, and that that bond that you have with your dog is based on food rather than loyalty or love or connection. Is that actually a fair criticism?
Well, we use the clicker. So when we start off the training, we use the clicker. Alongside the clicker, we do use our voice. We use a marker word, which is yep. And that's a nice, easy word. We've chosen yep because it can't be changed too much emotionally. It's very precise to the dogs. Yep. And it's something a tool we can give to the guide dog owner and they can use instead of the clicker. Some guide dog owners wouldn't like to be fumbling about with a clicker. What we've done, we've trained all the behaviours.
When we get our dogs, when they first come in for training, it's very important for us as handlers to get to know the dog, to bond with the dog, to play with the dog. So it is a very, very important part of getting to know your dog. And we still encourage guide dog owners and clients when they get the dogs to do the same as well. Pepper is laid down on a piece of vet bedding here, and this is where he lies down to relax. before we start his training session. With the bucket game, I'm going to place a bucket of food down. And what I'm waiting for Pepper to do is to actually focus on the bucket of food. Okay, that was the PRT room. So now we're going to head outside and have a look at some platform training. Okay?
With the same dogs?
Yes, we'll use Pepper and Farley again. Okay, we're outside now and we're going to go over to where we've got some platforms placed. The platforms are a fairly new thing that we're using on the STEP programme, and they're a very essential tool for teaching our dogs curb work.
This is a platform. It's standing up at the moment, and it's sort of covered in what feels like almost fake grass in a way, and it's just a hard kind of covered bit of wood that's covered with some foam, I guess, so that it's comfortable.
Okay, I'm here with Farley now. I'm going to ask him to put his head in harness. Just going to fasten my harness up. Okay, and now I'm going to ask him forward, and he's going to walk definitely towards the platform where I'll click and I'll reinforce him, give him a treat. Okay, forward. Good boy. And there comes your treat. Good boy.
Is it true to say then there is no negative feedback that you give to the dog at all?
Yes, it's true, yeah. Obviously, positive reinforcement, we heavily reinforce the desired behaviour and we ignore any undesirable behaviours that the dog might present. Then they repeat the more desirable behaviours because they're getting fed for it.
I think with the PRT, what we don't want is heavy-handed lead corrections where, you know, in the past has been used, and that's what we're trying to get away from.
Thanks to the stars of the show, Farley and Pepper, and of course thanks to Jan Johnston and Nina Swindles as well. So why has the organisation adopted this new training philosophy, and is it sustainable? David Grice is the charity's head of canine behaviour and training.
What we've basically done is brought together all the best practice in the business, as well as sort of combining it with up-to-date sort of current scientifically valid evidence. And we've put together what we're calling our STEP program, the Standardised Training for Excellent Partnerships, to hopefully standardise the work we do across the organisation and make sure that it's best practice.
What is the evidence that this is the way forward?
Yes, lots and lots of academic research has been carried out in this field in relation to proving that animals learn quicker this way, as well as those behaviours actually stay with the animal for much longer.
What's the training time for a dog now, and what will it be under this new scheme?
What we've actually focused on is the cycle time. So this is actually the training from the dog coming in from our puppy walking period right through to being trained with a customer and actually out at home and qualified and settled. And what we're doing is working on the premise that we can improve that cycle time and have done significantly to, on average around sort of 27 weeks, as opposed to sort of potentially a 7 or 8 week longer period through our conventional approach.
But one of the criticisms is that actually in some aspects of guide dog work that it isn't practical. Say, for example, the dog wants to scrounge when it's on a road, and your instinct is to get that dog and you off the road. And obviously that may mean that you become firm with your dog. I mean, that's a natural instinct, isn't it?
How we actually handle that situation at the time, particularly as animals are learning from all of their experiences, is really important to try and shape their behaviour for the future. And I'm not sure berating an animal or telling an animal off is a good learning platform for its future behaviour. What we actually want to do is focus on training that animal to do the behaviour that we want it to do again. So if it's to cross the road and reach the up curb on the other side, then we need to make sure that those points are key for an animal to want to get to. We have to be quite careful that we don't respond in a way that prevents the dog from behaving as we would like to in the future. You know, it's a case of, okay, stop the dog from doing the behaviour that you don't want it to do at that particular point, either through sort of pulling the lead towards you or holding the dog through the collar, get the dog's attention reaffirmed, and then continue on your way. And then it's about thinking, okay, so he's been reacting in perhaps a negative way towards food, or he's been approaching other dogs in a much more overzealous way. What's my training plan now for moving forward and teaching my dog what I actually want him to do, which is, i.e., walk past the dog?
If dogs are being trained faster, more quickly, does that mean shorter waiting times for people?
One of the positive consequences of this does happen to have been that we seem to be training dogs in a shorter period of time, but that wasn't really the motivating factor for doing it.
And does it contribute to a reduced cost of training a dog?
Well, at the end of the day, if this is a more efficient process, then potentially, absolutely yes. But I would say it's not without its challenges, and it won't be without our need to add some additional resources and the training and so on that's required to uphold it and to maintain it.
David Grice, thank you very much. As the outpouring of grief washed over us after the fire at Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago, many people sighed with relief when it became clear the Grand Orgue had been saved, if slightly damaged. Blind organist David Abrahamian Liddell played the great instrument in 2002 and shares his memories of that experience along with this actual recording of his concert.
In London, I met Olivier Latry, who was one of the 4 organists of Notre Dame at that time. One of the others actually was a blind man, Jean-Pierre Leguet, with whom I corresponded in Braille for some time. But I said when I met Latry that I would love to be considered to play at Notre Dame in Paris, and he said he'd be glad to add my name to the waiting list. But he did warn me that the waiting list was up to 4 years long, so I wasn't expecting anything for quite a while, but in fact it was probably only about 2 years that I had to wait. Every visiting recitalist gets the Saturday night, I think it's about 3 or 4 hours on the Saturday night, locked in the cathedral to practice for the Sunday recital. I felt that having to get to know my way around the organ and practice my setup and practice my entire programme for my concert was a bit ambitious to do in 3 or 4 hours. So I wrote to the authorities and asked if there was any chance I could go over and have a preliminary practice. They kindly granted me that, and I went over in the November 6 months earlier and had a whole evening on the Notre Dame organ, getting to know it. Then I went back to London and I'd recorded on a memo machine my description of the organ when I was there, and so when I got home I brailled it up all in sort of chart forms. And the organ there has a playback system, an automatic playback system done digitally, which records every movement of the keys and the stops that you make. And during your practice you are required in the contract to play your entire recital programme from beginning to end without any hesitation, and then they play it back to make sure they've got it. So that takes a lot of the practice time, and I think the reason for that is probably in case any of the recitalists throw a wobbly or take an ill or something happens, they can actually make your recital play on the Sunday without you even being there. Well, it's a very emotional experience for somebody who's been playing the organ for years and learning the music of many French composers, because as you climb that spiral staircase in the southwest tower, you think of all the people who've gone up and down those stairs before you, like César Franck and Louis Vierne, who was himself organist of Notre Dame from 1900 until his death at the organ in 1937. He was partially sighted. I think the Americans would describe him as legally blind, and he learnt his music in Braille initially, although he could see if the music was written out very large. And Jean Langlais, Gaston Liters, and then my own teacher, André Marchal, all of them blind. And you know that this organ, which is very loud when you're playing it, is projecting its sound all the way down this vast building. So it's very, very thrilling, very exciting, and extremely nerve-wracking for somebody like me who was just a visitor getting to play there on one occasion and wanting to do your very best. It was really like being in a trance. That's the nearest I can describe it. You are very caught up with the detail. You can't let yourself be carried away. You've got an assistant who's pressing buttons at your command, or at least that's what I did, and I think that's what most people do. It's called a sequencer button, which brings out the stops that you've set in your practice in the sequence that you want them to come in and out. So you've got all those things to think of, and the sound is just blowing your mind, and as I say, putting you into a bit of a trance, but afterwards I would say I was mentally shattered.
David Abrahamian Liddell playing Veni Creator Spiritus by Maurice Durufle at Notre Dame in 2002. And that's it for today. If you have any comments or thoughts on anything in today's programme, you can call our dedicated In Touch phone number 0161 836 1338 or email intouch@bbc.co.uk. We welcome your thoughts. You can also subscribe to the In Touch podcast on your favourite podcast provider. From me, Lee Kumatat, my producer Tom Walker, the team and the dogs, goodbye.
Scaffolding news for Friday the 10th of May 2019. Cows area. Current scaffolds. 93 High Street cows, scaffold up within hoarding. Cameos, Bath Road cows. Pending scaffolds. Ship and Castle Inn, Castle Street East cows. 1 Beckford Road cows. Current hoardings, 93 High Street cows. Pending hoarding, GKN Aerospace, Clarence Road East cows. Building materials on the highway, 60 York Street cows.
And in the Newport area, current scaffolds, 15 Cypress Road, Newport, HMV Castleholt Lane, Newport, Lloyds Bank, St Thomas's Square, Newport, 14 Caesars Road, Newport, Thatchdown, Merston Lane, Merston.
Ride area, current scaffold, Coburg's Nightclub, Union Street Ride, Marvin's, Cross Street Ride, Watson, Ball and Porter, 9 High Street Ride, 77 High Street Ride. Pending scaffolds, 13 George Street Ride. Current skips, Carita, Stane Road, Seaview. Spaces behind 90 St Edmunds Walk, Wootton. Building materials and hoarding, spaces behind 90 St Edmunds Walk, Wootton.
And in Sandown and Shanklin area, the current scaffolds are Wilmar Dorkin and Vermepa Cottages, Church Street, Newchurch, the Ocean Hotel Townhouses, High Street, Sandown, the Toy Master, 103 High Street, Sandown, that's in Albion Road, Ladies' Realm, 48 Regent Street, Shanklin, the Co-op, Regent Street, Shanklin, and Sandown Church, Avenue Road, Sandown. And pending scaffolds, Chubby's, 1 Regent Street, Shanklin. Current Cherry Pickers, Downs View, Sandown. And current skips, 10 and 12 Northbourne Avenue, Shanklin, and 14 Donington Drive, Shanklin. And current hoardings, Premier Inn, 1-9 Esplanade, Sandown, and junction of St Boniface Road, Arthur's Hill, Shanklin.
and the Ventnor area. Current scaffolds, corner of Trinity Road and Madeira Road, Ventnor, 1 Boniface Road and into Trinity Road, Ventnor. Pending cherry picker, Toad Cottage, St John's Road, Wroxall. Current skips, 16 South Street, Ventnor. Danyan Kebab Shop, 10 Pier Street, Ventnor.
In the West Wight area, current scaffolds, St James's Church, St James's Street, Yarmouth, and Saxonbury, St James's Street, Yarmouth. And vehicle crossings under construction, The Willows, 15 Cupressus Avenue, Winford, 10 Baring Road, Cowes, 7 Alfred Road, Lake, 32 Albert Road, Shanklin, 51 Worsley Road, Gurnard, 5 Lovett Way, Shanklin, 16 Mayfield Drive, Newport, 93 High Park Road, Ryde, 7 Westwood Road, Ryde, St Catherine's Church, Church Street, Ventnor, and 18 Arctic Road, Cowes.